Preseason period is now ended for the Chicago Bulls. On today's episode, we're going to overlook some of the numbers from preseason and what it could tell us about how the Chicago Bulls want to play next season. We're going to get into all that plus the mailbag right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host, Terry Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today. And I want to talk about the Bulls preseason, right? Like, preseason is ended for the Chicago Bulls. We had some players in and out of the lineup. We got to see, the first look of the new Chicago Bulls offense. I still think it has other layers that it definitely is probably going to go to over the season as they, increase their familiarity with the system. But there's some signs of progress there. When you look at it, the Bulls are number 2 in offense, averaging 121.6 points per game over the 5 games in the preseason. They also were 24th in field goal shooting percentage, which at 43.8% is still, it's okay, right? It's okay. They were 13th in three-point percentage with 34.3, but they were second in three-point attempts. The Bulls are getting the ball up. They're also first in field goals attempted and third in made field goals, and the number 2 rebounding team as well over that preseason period. And what does that all signify? The Bulls are getting up more shots than what they have before. They're going to try to take even more threes than what they did. They took 53 pointers yesterday, right? And that's the second game where they've gotten close to 53 pointers before. That would be a Bulls record if they did that during the regular season. So this is clearly a team that wants to get out. They want to get shots up, right? And I will say this, through the 5 games that we got to see, it didn't look like they're just trying to get bad shots up. Now, there were definitely times of that. I think in the first half of the game, the Bulls were just shooting in last night's game, and then we had another game as well where the shots just weren't the best. Now, that could be because you're not really playing your actual, your rotation because you're missing some guys, but it definitely is just something to look out for there, right? So, but the Bulls are going to be trying to get up shots. They're going to be trying to move. They were second in pace in the entire preseason. I actually think that's wrong. They were first in pace the entire preseason. So this is a team that's trying to get up and down the court. They're moving. They're trying to get shots up, and that's really what it is. Levine said this: we're getting them up. The offense is based around that and playing fast. I think today, even though we weren't making a lot of them, especially in the beginning, we were still getting the right shots. And I agree with that, right? You go back and look at some of what this offense did in moving without the ball. They're creating solid shots. Now, we did see minutes of stagnation out there where the players weren't moving without the ball in the way that we would want them to. But outside of that, there was some really good signs. And I love as well how this Bulls team is spreading the ball around in their starting lineup. It's not one player taking 22 shots and everybody else fighting. Like, everybody's getting double-digit shots. So getting between 11 and 14, 15 shots, everybody in that starting lineup. And I think with what we have and the way that we're trying to play, that makes sense. Now, I do think things are going to go a little bit more heavily leaning towards Levine and Kobe, especially in close games, right? But overall, this team is showing that the methodology offensively has definitely changed for this team, and they're just trying to make it routine. They're just trying to make it part of how they do business every single day, right? Kobe White chiming in as well. Chiping in? What? Why can't I talk today? Chirping in. Chirping sounds derogatory, though. Kobe White giving his opinion. That's the way we're going to play in order to be in games this year. Can't rely on just 2-point shots. We don't have DeMar DeRozan anymore. He can obviously win you games, a lot of games. So that's how we know we've got to play. We're trying to build that identity. And identity has been something that has eluded the Bulls for years at this point, right? We haven't really had a true, identity, just the way you look at just the way outside of isolation, they just didn't have a way that they played ball, right? And so the Bulls trying to get to that, taking more 3-point shots, things like that, getting more shots up. The signs are there. Now, defensively, it's a little concerning as well. While the Chicago Bulls were second in offense, allowing 121 points, scoring 121 points per game, they were allowing the third most points per game as well on the defensive side, allowing 123 points per game. The Bulls just got to get better on defense. They also were second in shots allowed as well. They were up there as far as 3-point percentage and shots yet again. So this is still a team that's showing those signs of being that team that's gonna struggle a little bit defensively. Right now, we saw some solid games defensively from the Bulls, and I think that's the key thing here is like how much can we play average defense? Like how often, how many games are we going to be average defensively? Because I think with the offense, an average defense is okay. It's not ideal, right? But if you can get closer and closer to being an average defense, I think things are going to look okay for you because of how your offense is shaking out. And so it really is, and we heard that at the start of the season, like the defensive system is trying to play into helping create strengths for your offense and getting out in transition, getting to able to put up a shot before the defense can set up, right? Those are things that this team is going to try to do, and the defense is a part of that. Now, I will say this. Patrick Williams really didn't look himself until towards the end of that season, right? Towards the end of the preseason. So, hopefully, even with Patrick Williams going down, which we'll talk a little bit about with an ankle injury, hopefully this defense is going to eventually just effort. Like I want to see this team give effort every defensive possession. And I think if you do that, effort is a thing that could really take a subpar defense and make it respectable, right? And so that's a big part of what we need to see as well. It's just play respectable defense. Everybody get active when you're out there and be engaged. And we saw that from Vooch and from Zach LaVine at times. Vooch, it's not really an effort thing anymore. Like Vooch just sucks defensively. Vooch is just terrible defensively. It is what it is. But outside of that, I want to get into some of the players' individual performances as well. Kobe White led this team in scoring in the preseason. He played 3 games with his 19.3 points per game. And what Kobe did here is really good efficiency. Now, he had shot the ball bad for a lot of part of last game, which brought these efficiency numbers down. But through the preseason, he shot 47% from the field and 45% from three-point range. You like that. He also got to the free throw line on average about 5 times a game. He hit 4 of that. 85% free throw shooting percentage with no DeMar. Getting to the free throw line more effectively is going to be important for everyone. He also averaged 4 rebounds per game, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, and basically a little over a steal per game, right? A little under, I should say, a steal per game. Zach LaVine, our second leading scorer, he played in 4 games. He averaged 18 points per game on 11 shots that he took. He shot that at a 53% clip, which is good. He also was 53% from the three-point line. You like to see that from him. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.3 steals as well for Zach LaVine during the preseason. Got to give him solid. Vooch throughout preseason averaged 13.5 points per game. He also averaged 9.8 rebounds, 1.5 steals per game, and 0.3 blocks per game. So there you go from Vooch. THT, our 4th leading scorer in preseason, playing all 5 games, averaged 13 points per game on 41% shooting and 33% shooting from the three-point line. Okay, Io, 3 games played, 12 minutes. We know that he went down early in one of those games, but he averaged 12 points per game in 19 minutes, I should say, in that time. 54% shooting from the field and 61% from three-point line range. Let me say that again for the people in the back. 61% from the three-point line and taking 4.5 of those per game. Shout out to Io DeSumo. Also a steal a game, only 1 turnover per game, 2 assists. Io DeSumo had him a solid preseason. Julian Phillips, the guy, 50% shooting from the field, 42% shooting from 3, taking 5 3-pointers per game as well. He's another guy, 4 rebounds. He did that in 20 minutes. I think that Julian Phillips earned himself a spot in the rotation. That's my personal opinion. I would play him over Torrey Craig just because of the versatility that he has there, but I could see Billy Donovan playing Torrey Craig because he's the vet. I want to be clear there. Miles Busilis averaged 9 points per game in 20 minutes. He shot the ball 35% from the field and 29% from three-point line. He did not shoot the ball well at all through preseason. He also averaged 3.5 rebounds, 1.8 assists as well, a half a block per game did he average. Josh Giddey, 9 points on 31% shooting, 31% shooting from 3. Got to get better there, young fella. 5 rebounds, 6 assists per game, and 2 blocks a game as well for Josh Giddey over the preseason. P. Will, 7.3 points in 4 games played, 38% shooting from the field, 26% shooting from 3, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 0.3 blocks, and a half a steal per game as well for him. Dalen Terry averaged 6 minutes per game, 38% shooting, 14% from 3, 4 rebounds, 4 assists per game as well for him. Like that, still and a half and a block per game. So, there's some things to take away from this that are positive for our players, right? I think overall, we got to see a lot from the guys we wanted to see some from. Patrick Williams came on a little late. Hopefully that injury isn't going to be a major thing for him. Vooch put up numbers, right? Which is, I don't think there was any doubt that Vooch was going to put up numbers. He's going to put up numbers. But that defense is a little bit concerning there. Ayo Dosunmu was about to have a big year. And Kobe White, he's about to have a big year as well. But we saw a little bit of flashes of maybe that inconsistency that we saw from Kobe last season. Overall, I'm not too worried about it, but it is something to look out for. But overall, this preseason period, I think that it did what needed to be done. Especially when you look at Lonzo and what he was able to do and him coming back and things like that. It restored excitement for this team. And I think coming into the after media day, there was some excitement, of course, as there is all the time. But I think after seeing Lonzo play, seeing Kobe and Ayo pick right up where they left off last season, I think that it's renewed a lot of excitement for this season. This is going to be an exciting season. This team is going to play a fun brand of basketball. We'll see how many wins come with that, but they're going to play fun, right? And so the only thing to come out of this preseason, this last game that was a negative, was P. Will's injury. An ankle injury. They didn't say too much on it after the game. That could be good. That could be bad. This is a front office that isn't always as transparent as I would like with injuries. But then again, they may not know anything. He could not be going to get any type of MRIs or anything or scans or anything done until today. So they may just not know, right? So hopefully P. Will's healthy because I just want to see this team start off fully. I don't want any questions, right? Even if P. Will starts off the season and he's bad the first 15 games, I'd rather get through that and know for a fact than have questions and then he comes back and we're trying to figure that out, third through the season or whatever because of an injury. So overall, excited about what we saw from these guys, excited about what could come next as well. We just got to see what the Bulls are going to bring it for us, man. All right. With that said, though, it is Saturday. That means it is Mailbag Day. We've had a lot of new subscribers recently, so if you're new to the channel, every Saturday and Sunday, I do a mailbag, meaning that if you call in and leave a voicemail, which the number 2 is in the description, it's 773-270-2799. If you leave a voicemail during the week, I'm going to get to it by Saturday and Sunday. Sometimes I play some during the week if we have a bunch of overflow, but I definitely catch up with them on the weekend. So that's for my new subscribers new to the channel. Let's get into the voicemails for today. This one's from Brandon L. Jet.
What is going on, hey? It's Brandon L. Jet, General here, calling in for a mailbag. After watching the game the other night between Minnesota and Chicago, noticed a couple of things. I'm going to start out with Giddey and Lonzo Ball. I honestly think that the starting lineup is set with Billy. I think that Josh is going to start with Kobe and Zach LaVine with a 3-guard lineup along with Patrick Williams and Vooch. And Lonzo, given his long recovery from his injury as well as slowly easing back, I think that he is better suited to come off the bench with Ayo, of course, as well as the rest of the bench mob. But I was thinking about something watching him play. What do you think about Josh Giddey staggering his minutes between the starters as well as the second unit to play with Lonzo Ball to hit up that backcourt? Two things happen with that. One, Lonzo Ball is not fully acclimated with the primary ball handling duty with that second unit because it gives him time to get healthy as well as get back into game shape. And then also with Josh Giddey, it gives him a chance to actually play off the ball because Lonzo creates a lot of good open shots and vice versa with Josh Giddey. I think the two can help each other out. Like, I'm noticing that Lonzo still has the IQ on defense as well as Ayo being like a terror on defense as well. It'll help out Josh Giddey. But then also with him playing off the ball, when Lonzo Ball has the basketball up in his hands, he can free up a lot of shots and set up Josh Giddey to get easier shots. We know that Giddey is not a good shooter per se, but I think it'll give him some easier shots. And you know that Lonzo is good at open court transition, and vice versa. What are your thoughts on those two teaming up with the second unit by staggering Josh Giddey's minutes to play for a couple of minutes, not too often, but just a couple of minutes here and there with Lonzo Ball to kind of run that second unit, and that alleviates any type of ball handling duties for Ayo, so they keep focused on scoring as well as defense. What is your thoughts on that, Hayes? Hit me back. Appreciate all that you do. And last thing, that outro music is fire. That beat is hit. Take care. Peace.
staggering Giddey with the bench unit, specifically with Lonzo Ball. And I think either way, right? And we don't know who the stagger guy is going to be. It's funny you asked that because I think I asked that on yesterday's, like, who's going to be the stagger guy, right? And I think we can see a little bit of people, like Josh Giddey's going to play some with the bench. But I think either way, regardless if he's playing with Lonzo, if he's playing with Io, or if he's playing with Kobe, Josh Giddey has to learn to be effective off the ball. And to do that, he's really just going to have to be a cutter and slasher. I know he kind of waits out on the perimeter and, also setting screens. I think if Josh Giddey with his size starts setting screens, and shout out to Quentin, he was the first one to really call this out from Let's Talk Bulls. If you use Josh Giddey to set screens for your other guards, you kind of got to play him because even with Giddey not really being a three-point threat, even though he's taking him, shout out to him taking him, he's a threat to drive to the rim, right? So those type of things you have to play. You got to just figure out how to make Josh Giddey effective when he's off the ball because he has to do better when he's off the ball because that's one thing that hurt him, in that last series with the OKC Thunder. Now, if on games where he's hitting that three-point shot, he's going to make teams pay for that, right? But on games that he's not, he has to learn to be effective. And he can't just wait for the ball to come back to him so he can run offense, use that basketball IQ, find angles, find lanes. Those are things I really want to see Josh Giddey do regardless. So, maybe having him stagger with Lonzo can help that. I think either way, he's always going to be out there with another guard that can handle the ball. So you got to try to work into that strength and get some of those things going so he can be more impactful in the off-ball segment. So very good call out there, Brandon. All right, let's get into this next voicemail. This one's from Bastion.
What's going on, Hayes? Let's try this again. Giving a call regarding, this is Bastion. Giving a call regarding Patrick Williams. Not sure if they plan on keeping him in the starting lineup or not, if he starts to struggle. But my opinion is, unless this team is playing amazingly well, they should keep him, and he's not impacting that. They should keep him in the starting lineup as long as possible. One, because I think he's going to need to work his way back after that foot injury. Two, he's going to have some mental blocks, and I think he needs to work through that. He needs to fail some, succeed some, fail a little more than succeed, until he kind of gets to that spot. They spent a lot of money, maybe not relatively, but it still was a lot of money to keep him here, so they owe him and themselves the opportunity of really letting him fail. Additionally, I think it's going to help Matas. There's no rush getting him into the starting lineup because I think it's only going to help him not being in that starting lineup just because of his mentality. And he's going to push hard to really earn that spot, even if he feels like he's already earned it, it's just going to really set him up great for next year. As far as Julian Phillips, I think if we really focus on getting Zach out of here, then he should be brought up as soon as that happens. And I think him and P. Will make really good forward to complement the rest of the team. Outside of that, just looking forward to seeing Lonzo play tonight, and hopefully all goes well with him and we don't have any more setbacks and he has a successful, though mild year. All right. Thanks. You have a good one.
Listen, and that's why I did say benching P. Will, if it's going to happen, it's not going to happen until 15 or 20 games into the season. They're going to give P. Will a chance to work out this rut between the foot injury, the change of offense. He always gives P. Will time. I've more so brought that up because we've seen Patrick Williams lose his starting position every season but his rookie year. And so I still think that of course is a chance that he can lose that starting position because unfortunately P. Will just doesn't play with a consistent level of focus. But I do think he has time to work it out. And I mean, listen, if you look at the last two preseason games, especially this one before he went down with his ankle injury, P. Will's been pretty damn aggressive the last couple of games. So you never know, much like with Zach LaVine. You remember how Zach LaVine talked about when him and Andrew Wiggins were both on the Minnesota Timberwolves and how they would have like these mini dunk competitions and it would just make him like want to bring it better dunking wise in the game and things like that. Like, I think we could see something similar like that for P. Will, maybe with Julian and Modest. Like, you see two guys that are nothing but energy and heart. They put it all out there. Maybe that could be a little contagious for P. Will. Maybe, hopefully. Right? I'm hoping at some point something motivates this guy because P. Will has a lot of talent. He just doesn't really apply yourself, Smokey. That's all he got to do. All right, let's get to the next voicemail. This one's from my brother Corn.
What it don't do, King Drip, it's your brother Corn, man. Hey, man, all the way out here overseas, man, smoking a blunt, looking at the Atlantic. You know what I'm saying? I'm up in the Bahamas, man, enjoying my birthday, man. You already know, man. 37, brother. Damn, we getting up there, Drip. We getting up there, man. In a minute, man, we gonna be hitting them 40s, big bro. But fuck all that. We ain't here to really talk about that. But I do got one more thing. See, I ain't got Dominican hot ass up in there. I do got a bitch from the Bahamas in the hotel. I'm gonna eat that ass. But let me be quiet. JDA, shout out to you, King. But let's get into it, man. Hey, Lonzo Ball. Now y'all know I'm a prisoner of the fucking moment. Everybody know, if y'all know me, how long I've been rocking. Y'all long I've been rocking with me. I am a prisoner of the fucking moment, and I love what the fuck I just saw all the way out here in motherfucking the Bahamas again. You know, I'm going to keep on saying that shit because, like I said, man, I would have never thought I'd be up here, man, you know, looking over shit. But fuck all that. Again, Lonzo, what he displayed today was inspiring. I'm so happy for the brother. The game he played, the shot is still there. You can see he got a little rust, but not really. It looked like he was hungry and ready to get up in there just to show and prove. This is going to be a very, very interesting year. And the reason why I say that because shit, you know, like you said, I had this team winning no more than 30 games. Really, I had them winning 26 to 28 games this year. But if they win over 38 and 40, I'm with it. But I know people who want that top 10 pick 2025 gonna feel away. They shouldn't feel away, but they're gonna feel away about it, you know. And it's gonna be an interesting season to watch, man. Give Giddey time. You know, I know everybody. You know, we don't like King just said. I'm not worried about say him shooting. Just make the team better and get the team better around you. You know, your shot will come eventually. Don't force it. You feel me? We got enough scores as is. But besides that, I'm very, very proud of Lonzo. Very proud of Lonzo. Happy that he's back. Hey, man, I'm supposed to go out here and go eat this Bahama ass. I'll holler at y'all on the next one. Peace.
Mr. Prisoner of the Moment himself, my brother Corn. And here's what I'll say. It was hard not to be a prisoner of that moment. That just is what it is. I think everybody, now it may have lasted a different length of time for everybody, but I think it's hard for everybody to not be a prisoner of the moment, seeing what Lonzo Ball has been able to do after over 1,000 days out of the game of basketball, to be able to come back and do what he's done and look as good as he's done and have no back down, no hesitation, no none of that. With that repaired knee, hey, man, it's hard not to be that. So, we've seen 2 games of Lonzo Ball, and it's looked pretty damn good, and it's given a lot of faith. And it's hard not to be a prisoner of that moment because, listen, Lonzo is doing something that nobody else has done in this comeback. He just is. He's making history. And I, for one, take my hats off to Lonzo Ball, and I hope he's able to stay healthy throughout the season to eliminate any of all those questions. And we'll see what the future holds for Zoe and the Chicago Bulls because they got to make a decision. So the better Zoe looks, the easier and the more clear it makes that decision that has to be made for the Bulls. So, we'll see what happens there. But all right, let's get into this next voicemail. This one's from Shay.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? This your boy Shay. Look here, bruh. I just want to tell you, and I've already said it before, I'm not ignorant. I do know Nikola Vucevic needs to lead this team. I'm not ignorant. He doesn't fit with this team. Why do you think I'm so skeptical about Josh Giddey not fitting with the team? I paid close attention to matchups. So I'm not ignorant to that case. I understand he's 18 and 11, yeah, but I do know he needs to lead his team. Definitely, most definitely. But what I'm not going to do is, based off of what I see in preseason, and say that's the end-all, be-all. Yeah, Monty Bucelis and Julian Phillips, they showing me something, but let's think about it. Will it translate to the regular season? Because we've seen a lot of people do good in the regular season. It did turn out to be dog shit in the regular season. Think about it. Jordan Crawford did pretty well for us in preseason, but didn't even make the team or a team for that matter. That's why you probably cooked his ass. No did he? Joakim Noah only scored 1 point in that entire preseason that he won Defensive Player of the Year that season. Jimmy Butler, although he did hit a game winner, he didn't really have a lot of big games due to his injuries. But when he got on the court in the regular season, he did a damn good job, and he showed why he was up and coming at that time. And not to mention, I think Rip Hamilton had a couple of good preseason games, but ended up losing his spot to Jimmy Butler that year. Now look, I'm not saying that it won't translate, but I just learned my lesson about what I see in preseason from a bunch of games that don't really matter, and what I see in the regular season from games that really do matter. You know what I'm saying? And hey, when opportunity presents itself, and you end up showing who you really are. Case in point, Kobe White was mid to average preseason last year. Got in that motherfucking regular season, boy took off. And honestly, I'm not ready to lose hope on Patrick Williams due to the fact of what I've seen with Kobe White. Because Patrick Williams is also in his 5th season, if I'm not mistaken. But hey, who knows? Y'all might be right. But hey, like I said, opportunity comes when you least expect it. Anyway, tell me what you think. Peace.
I agree with you. Like, you can't put too much stock, good or bad, in preseason. But I will say this stylistically, right? That's the thing that I always say and look at. So we can talk about it's not, but nobody's having a problem with Vooch's shooting. That's not the problem. The problem here is that, like with the other players you mentioned, the problem here is that Vooch just doesn't look like he fits in. So it's not just a cold shooting streak or something. Like, yeah, that can work itself out in preseason. But the things that we also are seeing Vooch struggle in have been things that he struggled in prior, right? So the defense, it just looks like it's gotten worse. So while, Shay, I know you love to make your comparisons, it's not really a one-for-one in that scenario. Yeah, you've seen a lot of players start off cold in preseason, end up having really good seasons. But how many of those players are still playing to the strengths, don't fit into their system? Listen, players are smart. They can figure out a way to fit in the system, right? But then again, also the things that were already ugly for Vooch that look like they've gotten uglier. So, yeah, I understand not putting too much stock in preseason, but you also don't want to ignore some signs of some things that you've already seen for years. And we'll see. Like, I mean, I would love for Vooch to have a big season, right? For whatever that means for the future of whatever. Like, just have a big season. So we'll see what happens there. All right, let's get into this last voicemail. This one's from Dre.
Yo, Hayes, what up, man? This is Dre, man. Hey, I called in to really get my frustration off the P. Will, man. Like, so I just got done watching your video, and I agree with everything that you said when it comes down to this nigga. But it's like, see, my thing is, my frustration with this dude is, man, because he got to be dude ass right now. My frustration with his ass is it's like basically what you said, like, those too mediocre, man. It's like you say, every season he'll get us like a 20 points or so flashes, bro. But it's like, bro, it's like now that the team, I don't want to say like a rebuild, but he can have a big role or a big opportunity. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, if he don't, I'm really done with this nigga up too, because I'm really done with it because he can step up a lot, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, how is it that we talking about? But we were just last season before. How is it that Martha was talking about that he can play better with the fucking bench? Like, bro, that's the case, put his ass on the bench, man. Like, he in the field comfortable being himself with the starters. Like, come on, man, we making too many excuses on him. Like, at first I was vouching for him, but it's like, man, come on, bro. Like, we can't keep holding this man hand, man. Not only that, we got like P. Will. I mean, not P. Will. Now we got Giddey and what's the other young boy name? Phillips and shit. Come on, bro. Like, and then we gotta talk about, like, bro lost his spot when T. Curry came in. Like, come on, man. Like, how long is he gonna keep babysitting him? Like, I'm about ready to step him off and put him on the bench. That's why I'm at with him, man. But shit, I mean, let me know, man. I mean, cause like, dude get he got too much shit going on at the organization to be dealing with to add on with his shit. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, let me know, man. Oh yeah, and that boy matters, man. His ass gonna be a problem for sure. But shit, I'm gonna get about it, man.
I think a lot of people share the frustration with P. Will. Now, he's been much better these last 2 games. You left that before, at least the last game. I can't remember the day you left this voicemail, but overall, the frustration with P. Will comes from also him being drafted number 4 overall. I've said many times before, there are a lot of teams that would take P. Will's defense and his 40% shooting from 3-point range and say, all right, cool. Like, we got 4 players ahead of you. We want you to be number 4 on offense. Just take the shots we give you and play good defense. And they would welcome what P. Will brings. But it's a little bit different when your team drafts him and drafts him 4th overall, right? And so we've always been waiting for P. Will to go to that next gear. And it may be that next gear isn't there for P. Will, right? And so I hope that it is. I think that it's in there. He just has to find a way to get it out, right? And so, overall, P. Will is going to be P. Will, and let's hope that P. Will does wake up at some point. But you're absolutely right about Modest and Julian Phillips. These guys are both hungry, and these guys have both shown hey, we're ready to contribute. If you call on our names, we're going to find a way to contribute. And that's what I love the most, right? Well, I'm not worried about the numbers or trying to figure out the averages for Julian or Modest or anything like that, but I will know they're giving effort when they're on the court. And even when they fail, they're going to try to learn from that, especially with Modest Bucilis. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know what's going to happen with the starting lineup or anything going forward, but I do know that we have two young guys in Modest Bucilis and Julian Phillips on this roster that are showing, hey, we're ready to contribute. Just call our number. We're going to be ready to go. There's a lot to be said about that. But that's my time for today, guys. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that's thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.